if we are going to get equality, if we are going to get adequate wages, we are going to have to struggle for it. Now, you know what? You may have to escalate the struggle a bit. If they keep refusing and they will not recognize the union and will not agree, I tell you what you ought to do, and you're together here enough to do it. In a few days, you ought to get together and just have a general wet stoppage in the city of Memphis.
Well, we usually talk to each other at our houses. That's where it's a lot easier to talk about. We're more comfortable. Sometimes my coworkers weren't comfortable about it, but eventually they got used to it because at work we're working 8 hours a day and we only have our 10 minutes or half an hour to talk about it. And sometimes even the company is talking to us about it. They have what are called captive audience meetings for hours at a time about how the unions are awful, how they only like going on strikes and they're violent, blah blah blah. And we go home and if workers or if we can't reach out to the workers, then it's a lot harder to tell them about what the process is. But eventually, they understand and we start telling them a lot more comfortably at their houses, or we can have meetings at the union hall, or we can meet in other locations, so we can talk about it outside of the company, because that's usually the hardest thing. And usually the company obviously has a different message of what they should be doing, and they pretty much try to control what the workers do. I think where a lot of workers get their motivation is from each other. That it's a group of workers. It's 10, 15, 20, 30, 60, 100 workers, and it's not one person fighting alone. It's also the community. We get the community gets involved. It's like, for example, politicians get involved, and clergy gets involved, and we show what the problem. The workers' problems is our problem.
Hi, my name is Steve Holt, and I work with CLU, and I'm also a student at Fuller Theological Seminary. And I got involved with the work of CLU because as I spent time studying the scriptures, I spent time studying both what we as Christians consider to be the Old and the New Testament, that I really saw God's passion for justice, and that I really saw that was something that was so intrinsic to the heart of God. And then particularly in the life of Christ, and seeing the example that he set by taking care of those who are poor, by taking care of those who are hungry, and taking care of those who are sick, that if I was to actually be faithful, and if I was to actually follow through my commitments as a Christian, that meant that I had to be doing the work of justice, that I had to be seeing the poor taken care of, and seeing the hungry taken care of, and seeing the sick taken care of. And that's what we do with CLU, is we try to make sure that people are being paid decent wages. We try to make sure that people are able to take food home to their families because they've been working hard and have been trying to get that. We try to make sure that people have health care, so that if they or their children or their wife or their husband get sick, that they can go to the hospital and know that they'll actually receive the treatment that should be available to any and all. At the Glendale Hilton and at many of the LAX hotels, we saw huge victories as they won union contracts that actually protected their wages, protected their health care benefits, and protected them from being overworked and taken advantage of by their employers.
Great. Finally won a contract, and they have respect at work. They have obviously within about a 6-month period when we started, a good example were the housekeepers. They were making around $7 an hour, and quickly the company started paying them a lot more to see if they could convince them not to join the union. But at the end of the day, nothing was guaranteed on paper, so they understood that. So they kept on fighting, saying, yeah, we got these raises that we deserve, but first of all, we want it in writing, and second of all, we want more, because the cost of living in Santa Monica and areas in the West LA is very expensive. So eventually the company, the hotel agreed to a card check, and they won the union. Now they have, great benefits. I believe they have a free health insurance, which, we were paying at that time. I didn't even get it because it was just too expensive. And in certain departments, they have a lot more respect than they used to have.
Unidos en la lucha, no nos moverán. Canten, unidos en la lucha, no nos moverán.
form a union, and we